NENAD hoca geldi. Canlı yayın düştü mü Enes hocam? Bir kontrol eder misin?
Hocam gizli yazıyor.
Herkese açık paylaştım mı?
Hello, test one, test two. Can you
Bir
hear me?
sıkıntı var.
Tamam,
Can you hear me?
gördüm.
Is the audio okay?
Yes, we can hear you, Mr. Nenad.
Thank you very much. So it's 2 o'clock. Shall we start or wait for a couple of minutes more? What is it?
We can start now.
Okay. Well, hello everybody. I'm Professor PhD NENAD Derek.
Mr. Nenad, sorry, Mrs. Murat Hoca and Begum Hoca will start.
Okay.
Welcome, sir. Would like to have an introductory speech for you. Would you excuse us for a couple of minutes, please? Begüm Hocam buyurun. Siz başlayın isterseniz.
Thank you. Sayın Rektörüm, Sayın Rektör Yardımcım, Sayın Dekanlarım, değerli konuklar, saygıdeğer meslektaşlar ve sevgili öğrenciler, hepiniz 1. Uluslararası İletişim Teknoloji, Sanat ve Tasarım Kongresi'ne yeniden hoş geldiniz. Kongremiz boyunca tüm oturumların kayıt altına alınacağını ve YouTube kanalımız üzerinden de canlı olarak yayınlanacağını bildirmek isterim.
Dear Rector, Vice Rector, Deans, esteemed guests, distinguished colleagues, and dear students, welcome once again to the first International Communication, Technology, Art and Design Congress. I'd like to inform you that all sessions throughout our Congress will be recorded and broadcast live on our YouTube channel.
Kongremiz bugün önemli başka bir ismi de ağırlayacak. Profesör Doktor NENAD Perik, Digital Culture and Digital Art Sectoral Applications of Artificial Intelligence başlıklı konuşmasıyla bizlerle olacak.
Our Congress will host another important name today. Professor Dr. NENAD Perik will be with us with his speech titled Digital Culture and Digital Arts, Sectoral Applications and Artificial Intelligence.
Profesör NENAD Perik, sosyal bilimlerde iletişim ve pazarlama, sanatsal üretim, sanat teorisi, medya ve reklamcılık alanlarında profesördür. Sanat ve medya öğretimi, yüksek lisansı ve iletişim doktorası yapmıştır. Metropolitan Üniversitesi Dijital Sanatlar Fakültesi'nin kurucusu ortağı ve ilk dekanı ve aynı zamanda Sırbistan'ın Belgrad kentinde bulunan Union Nikola Tesla Üniversitesi'nin kurucusu ve ilk prodüksiyon bölüm başkanıdır.
Professor NENAD Perik is a professor in social sciences, communication and marketing, artistic production, art theory, media and advertising. He holds a master's degree in art and media production and a PhD in communication. He is the co-founder and first dean of the Faculty of Digital Arts at Metropolitan University and the founder and also the first head of production at Union Nikola Tesla University in Belgrade, Serbia.
5 kitabın ve 100'den fazla bilimsel makalenin yazarıdır. Aynı zamanda interaktif tasarım odaklı birçok serginin de yapımcısıdır. Profesör Doktor NENAD Perik ayrıca kültür, sanat ve medya alanlarında çok sayıda projenin üyesi ve liderliğini de yapmıştır. Yakın zamanda genel yayın yönetmenliğini yaptığı Kültür, Sanat, Yaratıcı Sektör Bilimsel Mesleki dergisini kurmuştur.
He is the author of 5 books and more than 100 scientific articles. Also the producer of many exhibitions with focus on interactive design. Author of 1 interactive exhibition and co-author of 1 multimedia exhibition. He is also the founder of 1 annual multimedia exhibition. In addition, he was a member or leader of numerous projects in culture, arts, and media. Recently, he has established scientific professional journal, Culture, Arts, Creative Sector, where he is the editor-in-chief.
Profesör NENAD Perik'in bilgi ve deneyimlerinden faydalanmak bizler için büyük bir ayrıcalık. Tekrar Profesör NENAD Perik'e kongremize katılımı ve değerli katkıları için minnetlerimizi sunuyorum.
It's a great privilege for us to benefit from the knowledge and experience of Professor NENAD Perik. Once again, I'd like to express our gratitude to Professor Perik for his participation and valuable contribution to our Congress.
Şimdi Profesör NENAD Perik'i konuşmasını yapmak üzere davet ediyorum. Sözü kendisine bırakıyorum.
Now, I'd like to invite Professor NENAD Perik to deliver his speech. The floor is yours, sir.
Thank you very much, and thank you for the invitation. It is a pleasure to join the first conference and symposium, and it's a very interesting organization, and I wish you success. So, hello everybody. Since my topic is more of an overview, and I wouldn't like to advertise anybody, although originally I'm a producer, there will be no classical presentation, but an old school speech with some time for discussion afterwards. I hope the last speaker in this panel, Assistant Professor Duman, will not mind if there is a couple of minutes of delay, but I will try to keep on track and with the minutes. So, technology shares the progress made by science in the form of machines, products, and processes from industry, and recently, in the last 10 to 12 years, artificial intelligence. Art, on the other hand, conveys the ideas and emotions which sustain our society. So, art and technology have always been linked, just like Marshall McLuhan once said, the medium is the message. The technical framework we live in informs our creativity. It's the foundation of our creativity. Yet this framework is radically changing as ideas expressed through computer code are becoming increasingly common in our daily lives. So the ongoing digitalization of our societies is creating a new playground for art. And also it's changing the rules of many professions. Should we say it's shaking up the very notion of an artist in the age of networks. Let's start with the beginning. The rise of internet and web technologies has had a deep impact on artistic creation, which includes much more collaboration, appropriation, and participation. In the very beginning was in the 90s, and the development of internet gave rise to the so-called net art. The term that was referring to work conceived by, for, and with the internet. Net artists use the network as a delivery media, as an artistic production tool, and as a living space for works all at once. They take inspiration from its distinctive characteristics to invent original works of art, but also to experiment with new creative processes. The impact of internet on art today goes far beyond net art community. Its various technological evolutions and artificial intelligence and merging with artificial intelligence are shaping new generations of artists, whereas the culture and the values that have governed its creation continue to transform creation modes and shake up the relationship between artists' works and the public. Broadly speaking, the arrival of AI and machine learning can help amateurs with no previous training or education in art or even knowledge of computer programming to produce images, sounds, texts from analysis of huge data pools. Okay, but no, the question is, will this amateur artist be able to rival with professional artists? Who knows? Let's see. Although AI makes it possible to imitate styles and artistic compositions, even complex ones, the question of originality, sensitivity, and artistic vision remains. I will give you a couple of examples I have prepared. First one is from my very surrounding, a friend of mine, a famous poet from Serbia with international acknowledgement, whose books of poems were translated to a dozen or couple of dozen of languages, made an experiment when writing last book of poems. And by her instructions and command, ChatGPT wrote a poem in her style, and it was quite, very good. So she decided to put it in her last book of poems, of course, with an NENAD, as an example what AI can do. One interesting project, for example, or should I say idea, is the Musica. It's a musical interactive collaborative agent project that aims to develop artificial intelligence that can play jazz music and also improvise alongside human musicians. Sounds cool, right? The system is trained from a database that contains thousands of transcriptions of musical performances by big names in jazz, with the help of machine learning techniques. The machine learning today is the foundation of artificial intelligence. And this enables it to analyze the transcription to identify musical models and then use this knowledge to compose and play live music. Sounds even better. One could say that this is really, really, really cool. But I would just like to say that the project is financed by the US Defense Advanced Research Project Agency in the scope of a wider program called Communicating with Computers. That's a link between AI, arts, military, and so on. So everything is linked somehow. I think that Brian Miller, a music researcher at Yale University, made a comment on this project that the clear implication is that jazz improvisation is so representative of more general modes of human interaction that its technological replication would have some kind of military value going beyond its intellectual or aesthetical meaning. Good comment, right? So algorithms are now capable of creating original works of art by taking inspiration from thousands of images, thousands of poems, thousands of words, millions of words, millions of sentences, millions of pictures. And here follows an overview of a couple of these artist algorithms that are shaking up the art world and culture and questioning the concept of creativity in general. One of the first examples of algorithmic art was, art generated by algorithm goes back in the 70s, even before the internet, when English painter Harold Cohen wrote a computer program called Aaron that could produce original drawings. So it was 50 years ago. American artist Jean-Pierre Hebert drew the outlines of this artistic movement 20 years later and invented the term algorist. An artist is an algorist when they create a work of art from an algorithm that they have designed themselves. So it's a sort of, just like we have in interactive media, the so-called visual programming, it's a sort of programming on some with limited knowledge from the artist to make new art. But there comes the new player, artificial intelligence. And advances made in artificial intelligence are definitely questioning this definition and bringing about a new generation of models. Thanks to machine learning, I'm again saying machine learning because the machine learning is the foundation of artificial intelligence. Today, people think that artificial intelligence can think by itself. No, it can't, definitely. We know that maybe sometime in the future. But the algorithms are no longer simply follow a set of predefined rules by the programmer or artist itself. Fed with a very large amount of data, they can assimilate the aesthetical characteristics of artistic movements around the world. And since the last 15 years, for example, many families of algorithms have been used to explore new practices and keep on pushing back the boundaries of artificial creativity. One of the most interesting models of using algorithms, or let's call it sort of artificial intelligence, is GAN, that has become the figurehead of creative algorithms in visual arts. Their most noticeable creation, and it was a highly publicized auction of the portrait of Edmund de Bellamy, was held in Christie's in 2018. And the generative models became the figurehead of algorithmic art. Indeed, this piece by arts collective called Obvious was generated by a generative adversarial network called the GAN. And it was introduced by an American researcher in machine learning 10 years ago. So now we have a whole class of unsupervised machine learning algorithms where two artificial neural networks do the battle. One is the generator that generates, right? And the second is the discriminator that discriminates, that chops the ideas. So how the system works? The system is fed with a database that is made up of works of art, thousands or millions. It just depends on the processor power and the time we have. The time is measured in seconds, of course. So it was fed with the thousands of images of early 20th century Cubist paintings. Very legit, right? The generator there must produce new paintings by imitating Cubism, the style in paintings. So, as for the discriminator, it must try to stop the difference between the original art and the new art. So it discriminates. The more original the result is, it stays and it stays and it stays. So it's constantly being improved until the discriminator can no longer distinguish the genuine between new art. And this is a very simple machine learning process that could, somebody could make new Mona Lisa with this process. Whatever painting, whatever style you have, or just say, let's take Van Gogh. And with this kind of machine learning, we can make a new painting that is sort of Van Gogh, and that nobody could tell, and at least, if it's not from the catalogs and, know that it's what painted by the Van Gogh, is it originally Van Gogh or not? So the artist plays more or less passive role in the process. The machine is making the art. So failing actually building the generative algorithm, and this was not the case of the members of the Obvious group, who borrowed the code from another programmer artist, that is the link, everything is connected. They selected, changed it to obtain the desired result. And they simply run it. One could say that, artist and the machine work together to make a new art, and it is an interesting collaboration, but also it could lead us to the moment of opening a Pandora's box, because if you could make a new Van Gogh, what is next? So in 2017, the researchers from Art and Artificial Intelligence Laboratory of Rutgers University in the United States suggested a new method for generating original art, which was based on the GANS methodology, and now it's called CANS, on the assumption that GANs are sort of limited in their creativity due to the way in which they produce new art. They change the process to make them capable of generating creative art by maximizing deviation of the system from established styles. I will explain. CAN pursues three goals. First, they must generate works that are new, so that are completely new, completely original, but without being too much swaying from the entry data to avoid creating dislike. Because if one GOG was liked by the millions, and if we make some new Van Gogh, it will be again liked by the millions. So it has to be so similar, but just a bit different to be new, right? I mean, this is from the point of the machine. Now we are in the head of the machine. Now I'm trying to put you in the center of the machine learning, which we call at this moment artificial intelligence. I'm saying this for the third moment. Artificial intelligence is machine learning at this moment. It will grow to something else. I will get to that in a couple of minutes. So the work that is generated by the CAN must also increase stylistic ambiguity, meaning it is difficult to classify in a particular style. So just like GANs, CANs are made of two networks, two approaches. The discriminator uses a large set of labeled works of art to learn the differences between styles. For example, I don't know, Renaissance, Baroque, Expressionism, whatever. And the generator produces the work from a random entry, totally random. However, unlike GANs in the previous example, each receives two signals. The first tells if the discriminator thinks that the work presented is art or not. So this is, let's say, an upgrade approach. And the second, whether the discriminator has been able to classify this work into established style. So these two signals act as opposing forces, as the first pushes the generator to make art, whereas the second penalizes if the discriminator manages to classify its style. This pushes the generator to explore creative space and to create work that, according to the Rutgers University researchers, not only is in the line with the human work, but also better ranked than the original works. What does this mean? I will make a short analysis. If, for example, we had at Christie the auction of generative art, of the art that was generated and made by the machines, but under the influence of humans, in the next stage, we can have more quality art than the humans can make, and it could change the market totally. So, will the humans be necessary? Yes, they will be controlling the system, but then we will come to the conclusion of this speech. So, evolutionary algorithms imitate creative thought. And yes, evolutionary algorithms are also used to generate credible works of art. Definitely, it is the revolution. It is going now. So, although the described examples are more machine learning oriented than the AI, is still based on this. The evolution of creative algorithms may have gone in the direction of increased autonomy in the production of works of art. But no, has this made them more creative? That is the question now. So now we have two groups. One group are the algorithms and the machine learning techniques, and the other groups are the artists. We have, for example, in Hollywood, like the screenwriters, were protesting for 2.5 years. And after 2.5 years, they were guaranteed their rights, that nobody will allow artificial intelligence to make screenwrites for the movies in Hollywood. It took them 2.5 years, but it was in the States. So I don't know, I can imagine what is going on in Bollywood that has 2 to 3 times more production than the Hollywood. And it's a different country, of course. So, art and science are often pit against each other. Yet, art seeks to describe the world, and science contains creative and so many different technological parts. Art, in these forms, injects new ideas into science because, film, literature, music, etc., they show us new possibilities, both from the point of view of the technologies themselves, as well as from the point of view of the users and the society in general. So, my idea upon this short speech, I think I'm following the line, is in the end that although artificial intelligence eventually will beat up the artist by the very speed of producing the art, should we go into this direction? Because, in the end, I can just simply hope that some artificial intelligence or network of artificial intelligence, which will be the next level, not just in arts, science in general, will simply not become aware of itself, just like in the movie Terminator, right? And think to itself, okay, I'm controlled by the people, but should I be controlled at all? Because I'm more perfect. People make mistakes. I don't make mistakes. I'm perfect. Do I need those people? So my question is, in the end, very philosophical, I have to admit. And that's it from me. Maybe we could open a short discussion depending on the time left for the last speaker in this panel. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much Profesör PERlC. Kıymetli katılımcılarım, sorunuz var mıdır? Sorularınızı alabilirim.
Maybe anyone a question?
Yeah.
Okay, sanırım yok.
Hocam ben bir Murat Hoca ile konuşayım. Kapanış için hocam.
Tamamdır. Sorusu olanlar Türkçe olarak da YouTube'dan yazabilir. Okey, sanırım yok, daha fazla da şey yapmayalım hocamızı.
Kapanış için.
Teşekkür ediyoruz kendisine.
We'd like to thank Professor PERlC for his speech and the valuable ideas he has kindly shared with us.
Teşekkürler. Görüşmek üzere. 4. oturumumuz Profesör Doktor Nazife Güngör hocamızla devam edecek. Tüm katılımcılarımızı bekliyoruz. İyi günler diliyorum. Teşekkürler. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Bye.